name is Martha Leverett. I'm originally from Colombia, and I live here in Houston, Texas for about 4 years now. I used to live in Utah prior. And I was introduced to LifeWay patches through my neighbor. And she had like a little sign on her car talking about stem cells activation. And I was kind of curious about that. So I approached her, and then she gave me some samples to try. And I did. He gave me like 5 of them. And during that week that I tried them on, I feel them right away. I got like, my energy level was super high, my concentration. It was amazing how I felt like immediately. I was very thirsty. That was one of the reasons that I knew that something was going on, because that was the first thing she told me. You have to drink a lot of water. And I didn't drink a lot of water at the time. So I started feeling thirsty, but then, I started just feeling so different, but great. And I started just doing some research about, the other patches, because she gave me the X39, but I was kind of curious because the way how I was feeling. So then I learned that there were more patches, and I was just, investigating a little bit more about it. And at the time, I just started getting my own patches. Like probably 2 weeks after I started patches, I got a phone call from Colombia. That's where my parents live. And it was one of my sisters saying that my dad had serious complications. He is diabetic and he has gout for a while. And he had like a big tumor that it was growing on his ankle. And he had to go to the hospital to get it removed. But at the same time, because it was so big, he couldn't go home. So he was getting like, he was treated in the hospital to clean the wound because he couldn't be outside. They were like afraid of getting infected. So he was for like a month in the hospital. While he was in the hospital, he got COVID, he got pneumonia, and things start getting just very complicated for him. So when my sister called me, it was basically to go back and say bye to him, because at the hospital, they said that it was a matter of time, that they couldn't do anything else because everything was deteriorating. His kidneys were compromised, everything. It was just amazing how bad everything just turned out, suddenly. So knowing about the patches, the first thing I did, I ordered all patches, all, and I just went back home. I just wanted to try because I saw pictures and because the way how I was feeling and everything, I said, these patches, they have to do something. So I went back home, and obviously it was very sad to see my dad the way how it was. I mean, he couldn't move. He was he was under morphine because of the pain was so severe that he was just like out completely. He was having oxygen permanently. He was okay when he went to the hospital. The only thing that he was the wound, right? But then with everything that happened, it was just horrible, to see him in that way. But then, we took him home. And I started just patching him right away. All the patches that you can imagine, all of them, I put them on him because, he had everything. All conditions that you can imagine. It was so bad. But what it was, my main concern was the wound, because it was nasty. And we have some pictures that you can see. They're very graphic, but it was very bad. And
these are very graphic pictures, but listening to her speak about this and seeing these are just absolutely, that is the wound that he had on his legs.
So it was very, for me to see my dad that way. And I was there like 4 months prior, and he was great. And just see him in a bed in that condition, it was very sad. So, I had like all my hopes with the patches, and it was amazing because the next day he was alert. The pain was gone immediately when I put the patches. So I was concerned. I didn't know how to apply the patches on the wound, but then I realized and I learned that you can put it on top of your clothes and they work okay. So what I did, I put it on top of the bandage, and I put the X39. I put the carnosine and the Eon and glutathione, everything on his leg. And he was, like I said, he was patched everywhere. But basically what really helped tremendously was the X39 on his wound. Couple days after we started using the patches, the doctor came and then he removed the oxygen. So that was the first thing. He removed the oxygen, then the catheter, because he wasn't able to go to the bathroom, and he had incontinence. So he was okay. in 2 days. So then right after that, they start just taking care of his wound. And then a week, I mean, we saw a big progress. And in 2 weeks, I mean, all the new tissue was regenerated, and it was all the things that, I mean, you can see the bone and the tendons, and it was very bad. But then, you know, in 2 weeks, everything was covered with new skin. I mean, the skin is still is in the process just to seal completely. But I mean, in 3 weeks, my dad was okay. I mean, he was talking, he was, you know, with energy, and it has been amazing. A journey that I didn't expect that happened. But I mean, I was going to Colombia and I was going to stay there for like 3 months, you know, trying to help out. I ended up staying for like only 3 weeks because he was doing so well. And then what I did at the time was the live weight convention at Orlando. So I just flew directly from Colombia to the convention because I was so impressed with what I saw. And not only that, because I mean, the doctors, the nurses, everyone that was coming, because my dad was like at home and we had people coming and treating him and he had nurses, you know, 24/7, and they saw the difference and they just couldn't believe it. And they were like, oh my gosh, where are those patches from? We need them. I mean, we can save lives with these patches. And while I was there, because I had so many, and we don't have them in Colombia. Colombia, unfortunately, they don't have it yet. That's why I flew to Orlando to the convention. And then, you know, I'm a manager now. And just by sharing, because I really haven't done anything with any purpose more than help people. And it has been amazing, and I love it, and I'm so invested right now, and I just love the patches. And if someone's sick, you know, I just give patches away, and that's the way it is, because I mean, the way how I feel, the way how it helped my mom as well, because my mom also, that's another podcast, but I mean, that was incredible too. She has dementia and Alzheimer's, and it same thing, but it has been amazing, and I'm so grateful to be here and sharing with you this experience and tell you that definitely, you know, LiveWave can change lives.
I'm going to show this one, and I'm going to let everyone see. I'm going to take my light out. Look at that.
All new, all regenerated. I mean, we were able to see the tendons and the bone.
Yeah, now this was the before. This was the before. Okay, I'm going to show that one again. And then look at that, 10 to 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we were afraid that he was going to lose his foot, I mean, his leg, because that's how it was. That was so bad, on top of all the complications he had. So I know his kidneys started just working perfectly, because, you know, he had a catheter, and then we were seeing, you know, his feet was like very, you know, it wasn't clear. And after 2 days, it was clear. Yeah. And it was, I mean, it was a progress. It was just every day was something new with him, something new, improving the energy, his mind, everything. Right now, I mean, we can have a conversation with him like nothing happened.